So tomorrow will be 3 years since the accident, so I was just going to talk about where I'm at. So basically the sensation of the legs, the left is always better than the right. Like I can feel that. It's almost like normal. I guess there's probably less density. That's really good. It's sort of patchy. The foot, I feel there really well, but like there, I don't feel anything. And yeah, that's the problem with my foot. Drags on the ground, and like the first time I know anything's wrong is when I see blood usually. The right leg is not as good, but there's pretty good, the lower part. It's probably the thigh is the worst. That's where I don't feel hot and cold. I do here and here, but not my feet, not my bum. And around there is good, like, yeah, there's under there's good. There's parts around my knee which are okay, yeah. And with movement, basically moving my legs together, I had nothing below the waist for at least the first 6 months, but then I started to get this knees together motion coming back, and that is full strength now. There's some other stuff that came back like more than 12 months after the accident, and the left leg is stronger. I can lift that one, and I can kick it forward, but I can't do anything with the ankle movement. And the right leg, I can barely lift it. If I lean back, then I've got more, the tight thing is holding it up as well, but yeah, and if I hang it down, I can kick it forward, but I can't really pull it back. I guess I can with the left leg a little bit, but definitely not with the right leg. This is quite good, being able to move myself around like that. It's quite useful. And if I'm sitting at a table, I can move my legs around, which is really quite handy. Yeah, the upper body, I guess, has got slowly stronger over time. With neuropathic pain, it's probably only a few times in the last month where I get a jabbing pain, and then it goes away after only a second or two, and it can keep happening for like 24 hours. And it's the most annoying neuropathic pain that I get, but I don't think I've really had it much lately, and I can't really say what makes it more likely to happen. It just seems a bit random, but usually it's every few minutes for like 24 hours, so it's really annoying. And it can be hard to sleep, but I haven't been kept awake for it for very long. Other neuropathic pain, like when I'm pushing the wheelchair, sometimes it's kind of overwhelming in my calves, but I kind of don't pay any attention to it most of the time and just don't worry about it. Other times when I lie down to bed, there's less to distract there, and it can be pretty full on. It's kind of like having a cramp, and it's sort of electric feeling, and like basically all the time, like especially in my feet, it feels really funny, like but you kind of don't pay that much attention to it most of the time if it's always there. So the health problems, basically just over a year ago I started using the indwelling catheter, which normally you put it in intermittently whenever you need to pee, which you don't really know if you need to pee or not. You just got to try not to drink too much, and hopefully there's something in there but not too much. My bladder's open, so it'll just leak out if I transfer around, so that got really annoying, and it's pretty hard to deal with problems like that when you can't stand up. So about just over a year ago I started having a catheter that you put in there through the penis with some gel, and you do it like sterile, and then you blow up this bubble with a syringe that's inside your bladder, and that stops it coming out, and you can leave it in there for weeks, months even. And so far I've only had one bladder infection about 6 months ago. That knocked me over for a few days, but luckily I was in New Zealand, so it was really well supported with the health system there. And the New Zealand health system has really been amazing, and it really makes me rate New Zealand as a country based on how awesome the health system is. What I do since over a year ago is I keep interrupting myself, as I've got it's called a Foley catheter. It stays in there, and basically means my bladder is always empty because it's always being leaked out. It goes into this little bag here, and it gets pretty stained after a while. then I can just empty it like that, so it's super easy. And sometimes it gets like kinked, tucked in my pants, and then the bladder will fill up, and then if I move around it'll leak. So I still get leaks from time to time, but if I'm careful the way I do the cabling and everything and make sure there's no kinks, it's alright. And I can just sort of check it to see if it's slowly filling up. There was one time a few weeks ago when I was gliding and it was kinked as I was flying. Sometimes I like take it out so it doesn't, it's more space and all that. But it was a fairly long flight. I was concentrating on other things, and then I thought, I better check it, and it was there was nothing in there, so that the bladder had everything in there, and it filled up 700 ml, so there was a lot in my bladder. But I guess since the bladder is always open, if it really wanted to come out, it would. Probably it's different in the sitting position to lying. The worst, most inconvenient time to leak is when you're in bed, I think. It's always bad, but being able to transfer myself around and move around and be mobile and not worry about leaking is a huge advantage. That was one of the biggest things. Sex, there's not a lot happening there, so it's probably not a lot to report there. And but maybe something slowly coming back. And going to the toilet, it's super easy. I have a glove. I tuck it in this part of the wheelchair, and it's a bit disgusting, but I actually tie it up and reuse it a lot of the time, depending on how easy it is to clean. I can throw them out, but it's nice not having to get consumable stuff all the time. Same with that bladder thing. I've had it for over a month. I'll probably change it soon, but it's nice not to have to carry around medical equipment with you everywhere. So basically what I do is I just scoop it out. It's super easy, and 99% of the time there's no problems, but if I get diarrhea, it's a big problem and it sucks. But luckily I don't get it very often, so I feel lucky when I get it that it's only a few times that I have to deal with it like that. With the going back to the bladder problem, they told me that it can be really bad having a Foley in your penis long term, because it can do horrible things, like with it sitting there in the inside damaging the tissue. I've had no evidence that that's been a problem so far, but I'm being recommended to change it, so hopefully in a few months in New Zealand they will just give me basically a new belly button, just about there basically, where there'll be, it's basically like getting your ears pierced, but it's a hole into your belly, and then I have it going straight into my belly and my penis is out of it, and that'll be great. It should be a little bit easier to manage that way. And there is another operation that I looked into that I know a friend with similar injury has had, and it just seems too complicated, too expensive, too much waiting time, too much risk. I would just rather go the easy option and have to deal with the hassle of the bag. It's not the end of the world. What else? I probably should show some transfers. I haven't done any in a while, but this cushion that I'm sitting on now, Roho, it is fantastic. It's the best bang for buck equipment I've ever had. I've just got the little pump for it. It's better not to blow it to save getting condensation inside there, I suppose, but I've been using it heaps. I've been using it for gliding too, even though it expands and contracts depending on your altitude. I still think it's been awesome. So pretty uncomfortable sitting on my bum. I mean, not that I feel anything, but I just don't want to damage my skin. But with it there, I could just transfer down like that. And that was losing balance a bit at the end there, but I can usually do it pretty slow and controlled. And I might have to pause this, but maybe not. Helps having long arms. You often forget things and you have to ask someone to go help you grab something, but if you've got long arms you can stay out of trouble for that. So no problem. Thank you. Everyone's really helpful. Like those guys just ask someone needing help. In Greece people are being friendly, in most places, I mean everywhere, people are a little bit different, but the Greeks have been super nice. So I'll just go around here so I can demonstrate the transfer and move this Roho with me as I go. So probably not too close, but yeah, I was transferring in and out of the tent all last month at Lamont, and it's so handy being able to get in the tent. So tonight I'm staying at a hostel which is behind me, and it's not set up with disabled toilets or anything like that, and I rang them up. I just found a cheap place and I rang them up, and I said, is there stairs? And they said yes. I'm like, oh, okay, don't worry, I'm sure we'll figure it out, because I know people will probably help me, and I can walk up the wheelbarrow up the stairs, walking on my arms if someone helps me. But in the end they found some other room for me. I haven't seen it yet, but they said it's not normally used, but we'll let you use it on the ground floor. I'm like, oh, okay, great. But if it didn't work, I've got a hammock hanging off the back here, and I was just gonna find a couple of trees that looks like there's some good ones over there, and there's plenty around, and just set up the hammock for the night. I've got an inflatable mat as well. I've been sleeping just beside the car and then on the grass, and yeah, it really is a big thing for me to not need much and to be able to adapt to the situation, do things, figure things out myself without having too many things planned. Gives me a lot more freedom and less worry when I'm organising trips, if I don't have to worry so much about where to sleep. The other thing is getting in and out of cars and buses and all that kind of stuff. Under here I've got a hand drive kit, and I've been using that to drop the car off today, getting another one tomorrow. It takes a little while to fit it first. It took me ages last time because it kept jamming, but that was more the fault of the kit than it was the worst experience I've had. Usually it's been pretty straightforward, and I've never not been able to fit it in the end. It's great to be able to get around like that, and to be honest, like, for sure it's changed my life a lot in terms of, you often think about the disability. I mean, because it just never gets that, you can't forget about it for too long. Like flying, you forget about it for a while because you don't really have anything that sort of stops you. But like just going around in the wheelchair and all that, sometimes you're often reminded that you have a disability. But in the last half of the thing, with the crazy wars going on and the just lunacy and the stuff that other people have to deal with, that's been more on my mind than any of my problems. So yeah, it was a bit like that when I went to the spinal ward in hospital. You realise that there's other people that have got away with a lot less and got a worse injury than you, and that's the way it goes. I'm not sure if there was anything else I was going to talk about, but maybe I could tag another video later if I do. So 3 years tomorrow, and could be a lot worse. Looking forward to doing a bit more flying, and in the end I'm pretty happy with what I've got out of it so far and what I can still do. So yeah, there you go. Damn it. Okay, so I guess the last thing I wanted to talk about, I mean, the health system is one thing. Like the French guys, they really took care of me. I was grateful. I thought they saved my life. I didn't find out till 6 months later that it was actually a helicopter that really caused the whole thing. Never got an apology or anything for that, so it's a bit sus. But yeah, the Australian system was 3 weeks of limbo land, and then why don't you go to New Zealand? The New Zealand system was amazing. I think the Australian system could be good too, but not as good as New Zealand. It's just, I guess there's never enough doctors. It's pretty inspirational what the stories of the people, what they're doing in Gaza, but yeah, you could always be a lot worse off. But anyway, with the legal side of things, I found out what really happened when they investigated it, which was a bit weird how they didn't investigate it to start with, and it relied on the YouTube video to get it all happening. But yeah, more than a year afterwards I found out what happened, and I did ask a few lawyers about it later that year, and then I kept getting the bills for the hospital. I thought they kind of dropped it because of the situation. Like, you're really going to charge me for that? I know it's different departments and all that, but they sort of escalated it to, the ambassador sent me an email. I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk to the lawyers again. And I paid almost all of it anyway, and most of it, like the hospital was only some of the costs. There was the repatriation, getting the medical guy flown all the way from Australia to pick me up and all that, and Dobbo did his bit for free. Heaps of people have taken care of me, and I'm pretty grateful for all the help I've gotten out of a lot of people, but you would think that you don't have to push too hard for this kind of thing, that there'd just be some compensation, or at least you wouldn't have to pay for it. If it happened in New Zealand, the whole thing's an accident, everything's covered. So it's a bit rude to ask me for more money, I think. And especially when I had to stay an extra week, which is basically the only part I didn't pay, is an extra week, €2,000 a night, just sitting there waiting because I had COVID and they wouldn't let me go. So I recently got in touch with French Contact, like performer sponsor, and asked them about a lawyer, and they referred me to someone else, and I've emailed them like 3 times, and it's taken 6 months, and they've sent me 1 email back, and that's it. Talked too much and filled up the memory card, but yeah, anyway, legal thing, it's ongoing. Like, it's taken me 6 months to get 1 email out of these lawyers. Don't really seem interested, and some other lawyers I contacted a few years ago in France don't seem that interested either. I could keep looking around, but really the money isn't the main problem. I don't really need a lot of money. I don't really like to live a lavish lifestyle, and it's partly making a statement, I guess, and trying to get them to improve the system. But I did the YouTube video for that. I don't know, maybe I'll get more motivated, but yeah, so that's the way the cookie crumbles, and there's a lot of people a lot worse off. And I think, I don't know if I said this already, but yeah, the legal international rules-based order, the legal thing, I have zero respect for that, and that's what I was going to talk about, is the hand drive. I spent so long trying to get the license in Spain. The bureaucracy is ridiculous. I went to Australia, got it sorted out, and now I just don't care about, I just hire a car in my own name and drive it, even though technically it's not allowed in a lot of places. But there's 2 things people care about. One, they just want to help you, especially when they see you in the wheelchair. You get a lot of extra help. I mean, it's the same with everyone, I think. Like, people like to help, that's true everywhere.
I need someone to stop here and help me.
But the other thing is, no one wants to get in trouble. There's the liability thing. And with the world as it is, international rules-based order, blah, 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 I have zero respect for that thing anymore, and I'll only do things by the rules if it makes my life easier. So, 3 years tomorrow. Could be a lot worse. And, super glad that I've got good eyesight, that the top half works pretty well, and I can still do a lot of things. And, pretty happy with what I can still do and what I've done. A lot of people who have my kind of accident, typically males that are a bit younger with a lot more life ahead of them, so I got away with a lot before what happened, and then a little bit vindicated. Like, I was always doing things relatively safe, like as safe as I could. I wasn't taking extra risk. I was doing a lot of crazy things, but in the safest possible way, I'd say, most of the time. And so it was kind of vindicating to have it, that it was a helicopter that caused the damage, not the paragliding. And also the reserve parachute. I was always saying, I think there's the chance that it's going to put me in this much shit when I wasn't in that much shit to start with. And it ended up being true. Like, if I didn't have the parachute, I would have been okay. So, well, I think it's enough for now.